Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome to my political section of my channel. And in this political section, I am going to talk about how the Democrats are wrong, how the Republicans are wrong, and how this political system of ours isn't working for us in any way, shape, or form, and how it should be fixed. And it's quite simple. So mainly in this first video, and this could be the longest video, I'm going to go off and tell you guys how it's wrong as a whole and how I believe we can fix it. And in later videos I will go into more detail on specific things that I am going to mention, but these are common sense. I mean, every one of these is common sense, and every one of these could fix not only our political system, but the nature around it and our communities as a whole around it. Okay, but first and foremost, it really irks me how even doesn't matter which side, left or right. You know, some say, "Oh, the left cares more about the people," blah blah blah, whatever. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which side. But regardless, as of more recent, you know, last year's, maybe 2 years or so, we've been hearing the word unity come out of these pricks' mouths. And out of these pricks, I mean Republicans, Democrats alike. Okay, and hearing those words out of their mouths is the biggest joke I've ever seen in my life. Because how can a Democrat or Republican preach unity, period? How can they even mention those words when the very core of our nation, the very entity that our nation is supposed to run off of, isn't united? How can they preach unity when our political system is built on division? Okay? Our political system is built and run upon division. And they run it even more so every day upon division. They speak unity, but do they run it with unity? No, not in any way, shape, or form. That's why it's always the left screaming that the right did something, the right screaming that the left did something. How is that unity? And that's the biggest problem with our political system, is the two-party system. Okay? I'm not saying we need to go communist. I'm not saying we need to go socialist. I'm not saying we need to go to a monarchy at all. All I'm saying is we need to tweak our political system. And we need to tweak our political system by banning segregation within our political system. Okay? Just take one of the most famous quotes ever spoken or ever written or copied or quoted about our political system, what it should be, what it used to be, what it is the furthest from today. And that is, we the people, for the people. Okay? I mean, it is not we the people, for the people. It's we the Democrats against the Republicans, and we the Republicans against the Democrats. It's no longer we people. It's we Democrats and we Republicans. That's the problem. That's why we need to ban any segregation between our political system and bring it back to we the people, for the people, by the people. And that, the only way of doing that is to get rid of the political system. Ban any segregation of we the people, of politicians, from each other. It should be one as an entirety. That's why they need to outlaw any segregation, any isolation, any formation of groups or entities within the political system. It should just be politicians, period. Not left, right, not blue, red, not Democrat, Republican. It should just be politician. There should be no parties. And I've brought this up before, and people say, well, without a two-party system, you have monarchy. No, we don't. We just have an unbiased political system. We can have a political system without having parties. And we need to eliminate the parties. We need to eliminate isolation within our politicians, because that's how they blind us. That's how they get us to go to the polls and vote blindly and get to vote for our party down the list without having to put forethought into what we're actually voting for. And that's how they get to stay elected. And that's how they get to stay paid in their positions. We need to get rid of the two-party system by just outlawing segregation of our politicians. It should just be politicians, period. People say, well, how do we vote? Same thing, but instead of having two, we only have one. We only have one group of no headlines, no separate entities, no separate groups, no nothing. It's just politicians. You get that, and we shouldn't allow them to identify with any other group, and not even conservative or anything like that. It should just be politician. And if you vote for the politician, you don't vote for. There'll be no ties to him. If you're voting for a politician, you vote for what he stands for and what he has planned out for his term, for his plan for when he's elected, and that's it. No more blindly voting. No more just, I'm going in there and voting for my party. Nope, no more of that. Get rid of that. It's done us no good. It's done us absolutely no good. And it alone is teaching our children division. That's why it irks me when they speak unity, when they preach division. We teach our kids that, no, it's us versus them. It's Republican or Democrat. It's one side or the other. We teach them division. And that's all they see is the bickering of division within our politics on TV. Until we fix that and unite that and eliminate the two-party system, how can we fix any other type of division within our communities? That's why we need to fix that biggest entity and unite that biggest entity and make it one people, for the people, by the people. And then they'll actually have to do their jobs. Okay? It's plain and simple to me. And anyone who bickers otherwise is too stuck in the old ways and probably doesn't want to do the homework to vote. They probably just want to, if it stays the way it is, I know who I'm voting for. I'm voting for whichever, if I'm Democrat, I'm voting Democratic. I'm Republican, I'm voting Republican. You know how many people out there have voted for somebody that they didn't even like, but they were favored for their party because it was their party? That I like him, yet probably didn't even put any thought into it, that they didn't even like the son of a gun. That they didn't like the son of a bitch, okay? I mean, it's ridiculous. And most people, when they go to the polls blind. They vote for the party and that's it. And even if they do the homework and vote for whichever president that they want elected, the rest of the ballot, they don't. The rest of the ballot, they just, I have no idea about any of this. So they just vote whichever side their party's on. Republican, that's Republican, that's Republican. Okay? Eliminate that shit. Eliminate that shit and then people have to do their homework. Eliminate that shit and you won't feel bad if you vote for anyone else. Because there'll be no ties. There'll be no decisions made for you. What people don't realize, and what most of you don't realize, is no matter how much you want to say you don't, if you are a registered Democrat or Republican, your vote's already made up for you. The day that election talk starts, your decision's already made for you. Because you're going to vote for Democrat or Republican. You're going to vote for your party no matter what. And it's ridiculous. And you let all the media and all the BS tie you into it. And, yeah, I do like this guy. Yeah. No, you don't. You're just being lazy. You're just letting your bias, because you're with such party, tie you to it. So we need to eliminate the party system. And with eliminating the party system can only come more good than anything. Okay? We can eliminate corruption if we eliminate the two-party system. The reason I say this is because if we eliminate the two-party system, we can change the way we vote. Okay? If you vote Democrat, if you're a registered Democrat or Republican, come primaries, if you like someone on the opposite party's primaries, if you really, really like somebody, doesn't matter, you can't vote for them because you're not registered that party. Is that really fair? Is that really going to get the best guy even past the primaries? No. And then by then, you only have one guy to stick with it. So, okay, well, it's my party. And they said enough crap about that, the other opposite side, so yeah, it's my party. It's ridiculous. So, eliminating the two-party system, we can eliminate corruption. And this is how. By eliminating the two-party system, we can have one primary. Instead of two primaries, just one primary of just politicians, no labels, no sides, no entities, no groups, no associations. Just 12 or even 20 candidates of just politicians, just politicians. And out of those 20, every single person in the nation can vote in that primary to vote the best 4 or 6 out of those to the next election, to the primary election. And then every single person in the country would have to vote for the one guy, and no one would have a bias. No one would have it in here talking to them, hey, you have to vote for this guy, it's your side. Everyone would have to look at the issues and vote upon who fits the issues. No more biases. And guess what? No more fighting with your neighbors. No more fighting with strangers. No more fighting with your family because they're Republican or Democrat or vice versa. You can actually have maybe modest discussions upon the 6 people that are being elected that don't have any associations and say, hey, what about this guy? This guy has this. And we can actually have real conversations with the guy getting so pissed off because the Democrats and Republicans are so wrapped up around each other. No more of that. Guess what? Around election time, we can be happy. We could be united. And a united vote. Instead of this he said, she said, us versus them bullshit. We could get rid of that. What's that going to teach our kids? Those are going to teach our kids that, no, son, no, daughter, there are no sides. We're just voting for the best person out of this entire group. Out of this one entity. There are no sides, son, daughter. Isn't that what we should be teaching our children? And wouldn't that make everyone think and have the freedom to vote for whoever they wanted for? Instead of having the biases going into it? Instead of having a party weighing in on your decision all the time? And then wouldn't we see on news, on any political news or any anything, period, even social media involving politics, we wouldn't see the he said, she said nearly as much. It wouldn't be the us versus them. Look what these guys are doing, what these guys did. Maybe we'll actually hear what they're gonna do instead of what the other guy did. Maybe they'll actually have to discuss their entire plans to us and put thought into it instead of trying to dig up dirt on the other guy. Isn't that a future that we could look forward to? Wouldn't that excite you? It sure as fuck would excite me. And how we could get rid of corruption doing it that way is if we have one entity, one pool of politicians, just one group of politicians, okay, we can make donating completely unanimous, regardless of anything, in any way, shape, or form. Any entity, group, person, business, or association, or anything that donates to elections, donates to one pool, one massive pool. And it is completely unanimous, period. And it is then dispersed between said amount of candidates. And that way every candidate gets an even voice. That way there's no more buying their way in. That way it's not the candidate who raises the most money that gets into the office. That way every candidate has an even shot and has to prove to the people how they're going to fix everything, instead of just I'll just call in a couple favors, gets the most money raised. Oh, and then that's how corruption is stuck in our politics. Is they have to buy their way in, so they have to call in favors, and these big money, they donate. The politicians know who donated, and they let them know who donated, and so they call in those favors later, and it happens with every single politician. I guarantee you that, because the ones that don't owe favors don't get elected because they didn't raise enough money. But if it's dispersed upon evenly from a single pool that's a pool of just all donations unanimously, there goes corruption, baby. There goes corruption. No more corruption. It's gone. It's done for. And every candidate has an even shot. So the best man will win, period. Because the best man will have to put out the best plan. So that's how we fix our politics. Okay? It's plain and simple to me, and it seems like happy days. Oh, it seems like happy days if we could just do that. You know why the politicians today wouldn't go for it? Because they don't have, then they'd have to work. Are you kidding me? They don't want to have to work. They just want their secretary and their people to dig up some dirt on the other guy and then scream about it enough. That's easy. Oh, and then calling their big money guys and, hey, I need some more money, to win this election. Then they own favors. Corruption, okay? The only way we're going to get rid of corruption is if we get rid of the two-party system and become a one-party system, just politics, we the people, for the people, by the people, period. And have a pool that's of donations that's unanimous. I mean, that's blind, that no politician can know who dumped money to. Then it wouldn't even matter because it's dispersed upon the candidates evenly. No politicians won their way in, paid their way in, bought their way in, favored their way in. It was whichever politician made the most sense, had the best plan. Come on, doesn't that sound like happy days? And I am going to run for president if I can. I mean, I doubt I'll get it because they'll probably assassinate me before then because of these ideas, but I mean, maybe I might run for governor or something. But you know what? If I ran for a political position, whether it be senator, congressman, whatever, governor, mayor, president, you know what I would do? I would do it for minimum wage. You know why? Other people live off minimum wage, and I'm not there to get rich like all these other politicians before me. Okay? I'm doing it for minimum wage. And then you know what? All the extra money that beyond minimum wage that it would have paid me is going to go into an account. And at the end of my term, at the last year, we'll take tallies all across wherever, whether it's state or nationwide or whatever. And depending on how I did my job, depending on my approval rating, then it will depend how much of that extra money I get. So if I didn't do my job, I don't get shit. But if I did do my job, I did a hell of a fucking job, and everyone loved it, then I get that money. Earn it. You have to earn it. These assholes sitting up in Congress and in the Senate and all that people blindly vote for because they're Republican or Democrat. That's how freaking Nancy Pelosi and that other jackass gets to stay in office for so long. It's stupid. Come on. They don't deserve to be in office at all. But they're making six figures, these congressmen and shit. And they want an extra day off, so they're going make another national holiday so that they can have another day off. Fuck that. They don't work enough as it is. They don't do their jobs now. Because it's a lot easier to bicker about the other side than to actually put some shit on paper. Paper to pen. It's a lot harder than to put paper to pen and do their freaking jobs and actually figure out how to fix this nation. So, if you liked what I said, share it, because that's how we're going to fix this nation. We need to unite the politicians, we need to unite our political system, period, and then move forward. And there's a simple way of doing that, like I said. If you like clarity on anything, leave the comments below. On my next video, I'm going to cover a huge issue within our country of how the poor is kept poor and the rich are kept in power. And I'm going to show you exactly the biggest thing that makes this happen and has kept this from happening, and I'm going to tell you how we should fix it too. And it can be done by our politicians if they're made to work. So, thank you. I hope you like this video, and God bless America, and God bless you guys, and that's my opinion.